Okay, welcome, penny stock billionaires. Today is October 17th. I think we're going to have a very, very exciting week in the markets. We got a couple things happening. You have some big trends, big themes are back, which are going to be massive tailwinds for the next couple of months. I think we did it was a live stream a couple of weeks ago. I said, hey, this is going to be one big rally probably till January, and then things might collapse. We're going to see a massive blow off top. Of course, after that, I think there was a follow-up a week later where I said, wow, things are really looking very bad. Market turned around. It just like on a dime, it really turned around. And so the first thing we're going to be looking at is Tesla. Okay. Okay. It was almost a year ago. I think it was actually 11 months ago. I think in November. Of course, we mostly, I focus on the penny stocks, our client companies on this show. Actually, let me do a quick thing first. Let me run a quick disclaimer here. Make sure that let me run this disclaimer first. Of course, nothing here is a recommendation to buy or sell securities. They're very high risk stocks. You could lose all your money. These are all, for the most part, client companies of Octagon Media Corp. So it could be, it's not really paid content because this is opinions on various stocks, but take it however you will. So definitely the opinion is biased, biased for the upside. So let's take a look at back to Tesla. Unfortunately, Tesla is not a client yet, maybe at some point. Now, last November, I don't know if anybody recalls or anybody was on here, I was doing a live stream and somebody asked, hey, what do you think of Tesla? And I never really looked at Tesla as because, focus on penny stocks, but the chart looked amazing. I said, hey, this is a flag forming. It's probably going to break out. It's going to go to $1,000 because that would have been like, that's where it looked like it was heading, right? So it was right around here. I think it might have been this breakout. It was around I believe it was around $400, $450, around that area. So we went to 700, kind of pulled back, and right when it broke that moving average, it looked like it could have been game over. I think, again, I did multiple live streams talking about Tesla. Bottom line is, in the last couple of weeks, if you look, it broke above the moving average. In June 23rd, it broke above the moving average. This is the 50-day moving average. And it's touched it a couple times, but it's really used that as a support to bounce significantly higher. And what we're seeing now in the last few weeks, and especially Friday's close, is this thing is ready to explode. I think Tesla is going to double from here. It's probably going to be 1,600 plus. Again, I don't own Tesla. I don't really care about Tesla. But the chart of Tesla is basically, that's what it's telling you. That this thing wants to go to 1,600, maybe even $1,800. I think we're going to see a massive move in Tesla in the next couple of months. It's going to suck a lot of people into it, into stocks, into speculative stocks. And that is going to do is it's going to push up a lot of the penny stocks with it. If you remember what happened last November, we saw massive in December, January, just things really took off. It's just that speculative fervor was back in the markets. People had FOMO, and we're going to see the FOMO start happening. We're going to see the FOMO start happening very shortly with a bunch of our stocks. Very interesting. I think we're going to in November. I think we're going to see the same thing now. It could be November to January, whatever it is. But this chart, you kind of have, I don't know, you can have a cup and handle, whatever you want to call it. This looks very similar, though. This chart looks very similar to a couple of our stocks. But let me first go back to Bitcoin. which interestingly, Bitcoin looks really similar to this. Really, I mean, pretty similar. I don't know if you guys follow our Telegram. By the way, anybody who is not a member of our Telegram channel, it is free. The link to join is in the description, the video description below. There's a link. Click that. Join our Telegram and get a lot of good intraday market commentary throughout the day. Various stocks, even Bitcoin I cover. Again, I don't really care about Bitcoin. It's just simply Bitcoin, Tesla. These are bellwethers for speculative fervor. What's happening now in Bitcoin? Again, it broke above this 50-day moving average. It's a high conviction breakout. We talked about it on the Telegram channel. I may have mentioned in the live stream, but yeah, this thing wants to go much higher. And again, last November, I said, hey, I think Bitcoin is going to go to, I think it was 20,000 then. It was 20,000, yeah. I said, this thing is going to go to 100,000. Whether you like it, you don't like it, it's going to go to 100,000. I did say I think I may have said by April or within the year, but here we are. It's going to break out of this range here in the next few weeks. Maybe even, it might even pop this week. It might break out to a new high. It'll probably consolidate a little bit for a week. And then once it breaks above like 65, 70, listen, once Bitcoin goes to 75,000, it's going to go north of 100,000. Bitcoin is going to suck a lot of people in before, it collapses. It might go, it might go to 180,000. I mean, this thing is just insane. And what that is going to do is, I think it's going to be very bullish for a lot of the penny stocks. So with that said, let's take a look at some very similar charts. Now, here's the thing. With Bitcoin, Tesla, whatever it is, these things, I am certain, I'm 90% certain that these things are going to double in the next few months. But do you want to make double your money, or do you want to make 5-10 times your money? So if you want to make 5-10 times your money, stuff like that, with even better risk reward setups, let me show you a couple stocks. Of course, you can lose all your money with these. Very high risk. So let's take a look at RHT, first of all, Relic. Let me clear this. I don't know what this is doing here. Okay, so Relic, very similar, kind of similar chart action happening right now. I think this week we're going to probably hit the $1.25 area. We'll hang around there, and then it's going to break out. Again, my target on this is 250 by December. They got a lot of catalysts, a lot of things happening in the pipeline. The CEO talked about Lisa. Check out the videos on the Wall Street Reporter 1843 channel, Wall Street Reporter 1843. That's our YouTube channel for that. Relic, RHT, RQHTF. Let me just pull up RQHTF just to give you a little context. Yeah, so this is the American chart. The American chart looks even better. And there you go. So we're going to take out this $2 number, US $2. We're going to go, I think it would go to $4 ultimately, $4 or $5. And so $2 would mean roughly 250 Canadian. I think it'll get there by December. I might be wrong. It might be January. It might be late November, but it's going to be very, very quickly. 250 on a Relic. So let's see, what do we got here? Yeah. Let's take a look at, here is a stock. All of a sudden, everybody loves VSB. Everybody's a fan. We introduced VSB last, October. Yeah, it was last October, right over here. I think it was 15 cents. It didn't really get a lot of traction for a month. Finally, it got attention, and then it went into a consolidation phase. By the way, take a look at this. What you're seeing here, this chart, here is your typical breakout, what you're going to see in Tesla and Bitcoin. You see this period from December to October, roughly. very similar to that chart on Bitcoin and Tesla I showed you. I mean, if you overlaid them, I'm sure there's a way to do it. I don't know how to do it. Actually, let me see if I can do it. Kind of. I mean, is it kind of? I don't know. Whatever. You get the idea. There's a lot of similarities. So the way that VSB broke out, you're going to see the same thing happen with Tesla. So VSB is actually the in the lead over here. And again, my short-term target on VSB, 250. I think ultimately this thing can go to $5. I know it sounds crazy. I've told you guys crazy things before, and they've happened. So it's just the chart. The chart does not lie. And of course, listen, it could go to zero tomorrow. These are very high risk stocks. Again, do not buy these if you're, don't, whatever. Don't take out a third mortgage to buy VSB. Anyway, VSB, VSBGF, over the counter VSBY on the CSE. I think we're going to see an amazing week. You might see, again, a little bit of consolidation. Very possible we might get a shakeout this week to like $1.20. It doesn't matter. Like, don't ignore it. If you see the stock dropping a little bit, just like don't even pay attention. It means nothing. Like, yeah, okay, so here's the short term. We could easily drop to like $1.20, $1.26, easily Monday morning. Ignore it. In the next week, it's going to break out significantly higher. We're going to see 250 plus on the stock in the short term. Okay, wow, Nell. Okay, were you watching our live stream with Jay last year? You were like one of the originals then. So yeah, so $5. If you're still holding it, it's pretty good. Yeah, I think this thing has got still a lot of legs, a lot of legs to go. It's going to be our ninth 10 bagger. So yeah, it's going to be our ninth 10 bagger. Maybe even technically it's going to be the 10th because we got another stock which I don't really talk about, which is technically we introduced, but and it went up 10x, but we don't. Anyway, yeah, VSB this week I think is in a really good position. Wow, Nell. Okay, yeah. Here's the crazy thing. I got to tell you something. Sometimes you see something. You see one of these. You see a company, right? You see something, a business model. Either it's a business model that's incredible, a CEO that's incredible, or something. And you know what? Actually, I prefer the CEO. I prefer the business model, something great business, because sometimes, look, a lot of these CEOs who are running public companies, they're great salesmen. They got to where they are because they're great salesmen, right? So you can get sucked into that. Sometimes these guys are very charismatic, whatever it is, and you really got to look at the model, at the whole thing. Now, when we introduced VSB, I tell you, I saw this last year. I said, man, what they're doing is incredible. It's got a lot of legs. It was difficult though to get the story out because it's a little bit complicated and there's multiple facets to it. I'm surprised it took people so long to really understand it, but the whole thing was there. It was right there in front of them. It was right in front of their eyes. Now, why do I mention this? Because I think I put out a thing on Twitter. I did an interview this morning at 7 a.m. Okay, it's a Sunday, 7 a.m. I got up to do this interview. Now, when you see I'm gonna be posting this interview tomorrow. It's a company. I'm not saying which company, but there's a reason why the interview was done early. And what I saw, it was like a demo. It was a demo. You're going to be seeing a demo tomorrow morning. I'm going to release it. I got to tell you something. People know about the stock. It's kind of been floating around. What I saw, like, it's like I don't understand why this thing right now is not trading at 5x, 10x where it is. Because right there is like, it's like the future. When you see this thing, it's like a ground floor of like a, I don't even want to say Tesla, because when Tesla, when Tesla was first came out, I mean, it was just an electric car. There were other electric cars. There was Fisker, there was whatever, and Tesla wasn't even that great. I mean, Fisker was a much cooler looking car. I don't know if it was worked better, but there was a bunch of cool electric cars. It was all crap, but 2008, 9, whatever it was. But this thing, what you're going to see tomorrow morning, what you're going to see, I'm going to, by the way, join our Telegram channel. Click the link in the video description because I'm going to be putting it on Telegram tomorrow. I think this stock is going to be, it's like when you watch this video, I'll explain to you, like, I don't understand how people overlook this thing. It was like right under their nose. You're going to meet this guy, I think is the Roy Disney. Okay, Roy Disney. If anybody knows Roy Disney, is the guy who started the Walt Disney Company, but he created Disney. I mean, the guy built an empire off a very simple concept, but a very, very genius aspects of his business. This guy is like the Roy Disney, the Steve Jobs and Elon Musk rolled into one of his industry. I should say of his or her. I'm not telling you if it's male or female CEO, right? but this person this is going to be, I think, 100 bagger stock. I am certain it'll be a 10 bagger within the next 9-10 months. It's going to take a while to again, normally 10 baggers, when we bring in a stock, I think it takes about 10 months to become a full 10 bagger. And I said that early on when we did our live stream back in November, where I did like a explanation. But we've had things happen quicker. We've had like CBDT became a 50 bagger in 4 months. We've had ESC became a 10 bagger, 15 bagger in also 4 months. We've had a bunch of stocks that became, but we had a very unusual market last November to January. It was a massive tailwinds, very similar, I think, to what we're going to have, I think, this year. But this stock, I believe, is going to be a 10 bagger, but it's going to take probably 3 years for the story to unfold. And if I think it goes like what is going to happen in 3 years, it's going to be a 100 bagger. I could not say that about too many other companies, because when you see this, you'll understand why it's different than other stocks, because even like VSB, whatever, there's too many uncertain variables 3 years out. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainties. This thing, when you'll see the video tomorrow, you'll understand why it's different than a lot of other stocks. But I really do believe it could be a 100 bagger. And again, it could go to zero, very possible. The thing could go bankrupt, etc. Yes, exactly. Very similar to PKK in many ways, in many ways. I don't want to mention all the ways, but it's almost like a twin, but bigger. Because, Peak, very different company, Peak, by the way, I got to tell you guys something. I know I understand, like, there's some people like been saying, oh, that I'm bad-mouthing ex-client companies or this, or I don't badmouth any ex-client companies or anything. I remember a bunch of people saying, "Oh, how come you didn't say, hey, we should get out of this stock?" I mean, there's a couple of stocks that last year ran, and they say, "Oh, how come you didn't say to sell?" First of all, I will never say to sell a stock. Never, ever. You will never hear me to say sell anything, right? However, I will tell, and I've said before, a lot of times, very often, when a stock goes 10x or even more than 10x, a lot of times there's not any more room left. The air becomes very thin, and it's become, or things are priced in. We've seen this, and every time I say that, people say, "Oh, you're bad-mouthing company." People said that about Nextech when I said, "Hey, Nextech, we're not working with Nextech, and I think this thing is fully priced. You want to hang on to it, great, whatever." I like the company, fundamentals. I love the company. I mean, the fundamentals are great. Is it worth the money? I don't know. Peak. Great story. Is it worth $1.5 billion today? I don't think so, because China, the China multiple is not going to be 10x for fintech. Whatever. I don't want to go. I'm not here to badmouth or to give negative, whatever it is. Bottom line is, when something is priced to perfection, what's the point of holding it? Like, I want to buy things that are undervalued fundamentally. So when you're coming into the stock, you have an edge. You have a margin of safety, as Warren Buffett would say, right? So, and again, people say, oh, on Nextech, on CBDT, whatever, all these other. I'm not bad-mouthing any of these companies. If you like the model, it's great. But once a stock goes up 20x, 50x, do you think it's going to go up another 10 times? I mean, the odds of it are infinitesimal. I think it's a much smarter thing to do is get into a stock, you make 10x, maybe even make 20x. You get out of it and you parlay into the next deal, which goes up 20x. So let's say you get it, and I've talked about the parlay formula since last year. When you get into something, let's say you put in 10 grand, that 10 grand becomes 100 grand. Why do you want to wait for this thing to become worth, 200 grand or 300? It could, but the odds are small. Much better off to take that, 100 grand, put it into something that could become worth $1 million, or 2 different deals, 3 different deals, whatever it is. Anyway, and we've seen people who've done it. So, yes, I'll be talking about these in a second. Bets. I think we're going to be hearing something about bets shortly. I'm told now. Again, sounds like a broken record. We've been hearing about bets coming back online for a couple months, but I from what I understand, something is actually cooking to get this thing back on imminently. Okay, so again, by the way, it's interesting you bring this up. One of the risks of going all into a stock is if you go all in and it gets halted for a merger or whatever it is, your money's tied up basically. And bets has been tied up for 6 months. So that is a screwed up situation. So that's one of the risks. I don't know anything about TKX. I know people mention it. I don't know anything about the stock. Anyway, so the stock we're going to introduce Monday, I think is going to be very, very interesting when you see this. Yeah. Okay, so too big. Let's see why the USB. Yeah, listen, guys, these things are These are okay. Look, especially when it comes to penny stocks, these things are very speculative. There's a lot of, it's like a horse race, right? Like sometimes you can have that long shot. You can have that 50-1 that, it's a 50-1 horse, 50-1. And that horse is out of the gate and it's leading. It's for the first, I don't know, 30 seconds, whatever, quarter, whatever you call it, half a mile. It's ahead. It's amazing. People are saying, holy shit, this thing is going to 50-1 or whatever. But then the reality is it loses steam. And then the favorites, the horses that are 5-1, the 10-1, the 3-1, 2, those are the guys that end up winning. Sometimes 1 out of 100 times you get that 50. But the reality is a lot of these guys that are out of the gate very quickly, they never last. It's just the way the nature of speculative venture. We're in the public venture business. Okay, these are very, very speculative stocks. So a lot of times these things become 10 baggers, 20 baggers, and then that's pretty much it. That's why don't get too attached to these things. You really can't. I think it's different when you have kind of like NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange company, TSX, companies that have already a couple of $1 billion market cap, that have, a business model, that have earnings that are, you're talking about whether you're like Amazon or whatever, Apple. I don't even say Apple. A lot of these companies, Shopify, right? So when they have a model, they have a team, they have cash, they have all that stuff working in their favor. You know what? You may want to hold on to those because we've seen things become 100 baggers. I'm embarrassed to say I actually, I mean, this is terrible. I actually lost out on 200 bagger stocks. It's funny. Just now, these things became 100 baggers. In 2008, right after the market crash, I kind of day traded out of these stocks. One of them was Crocs, and I thought Crocs was a fad in 2009, and I think it was like $1 a stock. And then another one was another crazy company. It's like I lost track of it, and it's like I was like, holy shit, this thing is like so. Yeah, so it's but it took 10 years. So in theory, but those are big companies. Those are huge companies at the time. It's unusual for penny stocks to become 100 bags. Very unusual because again, penny stocks are like those long shot horses. It's like think of it this way. I think I gave you a great metaphor. It's like that 50-to-1 horse. It leads the pack for that first half mile, and that's when you want to sell it when it's like ahead of everybody, because the odds of it maintaining that pace is unlikely. You want to get out of it then and take your money. Maybe you'll get 10-to-1, whatever. Don't wait for it to be that 50-to-1 because it's not going to happen most likely. But look, this game is all about managing your risk. Manage your risk. Yeah, this guy Calvin. Check out the video we have with Calvin Ting on Wall Street Reporter. I gotta put into like a special thing. This guy Calvin is like a special type of genius. I mean, really, he really understands the psychology. I think if this guy develops, he could be really a great investor. Yeah, he's I think a lot of times he's got the psychology of it down cold. I mean, and I was blown away. This kid's like 22, so he turned what $2,000 into $1 million. Yeah, check out that interview with Calvin Ting. Let's see. Both, yeah, the new stock, the company. I shouldn't say it's new. Actually, it may not be new. You're going to see a new demo. What you're going to see is a new demo that people have not seen before. They did not understand it. And when I kind of explain, I mean, the CEO explains what they're doing, but well, you'll see. You got to see this. Okay. Bottom line. So let's get back on track. Sorry, I get a little bit off track. Anyway, tomorrow this stock is going to be it's an amazing stock. You're going to want to watch the video on YouTube on the Wall Street Reporter channel. Join our Telegram link. And also, by the way, if you're watching this channel for the first time, all our chart stuff, commentary, opinion is going to be on this channel, the Penny Stock Billionaire Gang channel. If you want to join the Penny Stock Billionaire Gang, click the subscribe button. There's no, it's not like joining the Hells Angels. There's no, initiation thing. You're not going to get, a beating, or you don't have to kill anybody and nothing. You don't have to rob stores. This is a money making gang, a capitalist gang. All right, let's get back to the charts here. Okay, so VSB. Again, this week we might see a bit of a pullback, a couple of days, but then it's going 250 very, very quickly. Okay, let's take a look at a couple stocks. So RHT, VSB this week, explosive. Let's take a look at a couple stocks that are going to be catching up, and I'm kind of waiting for things to kind of they gotta kind of build a little bit before they can go into the momentum mode. One of them is ESC. I'm waiting. This thing is cooking. Okay, ESC right now is cooking. It's incubating. Again, ESC, when we introduced this last year, 30 cents, 35 cents, it ran to $4. I believe, I'm certain, I'm 99% certain, we're going to see $4 again on ESC, possibly higher. So it's ENTEF, over the counter, ESE. in Canada. Should I be pulling up the US symbols also? I know we got a lot of Americans, but whatever. So take a look at what's going on here. It's actually very similar to what you're seeing in Tesla. You had a breakout above the moving average, 50-day moving average. It dropped off a little bit, but it hasn't dipped below it. It's been bouncing off it as support. And it's going to turn at any minute. And like any of these days, it could turn. And again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I was saying the same thing about PKK for 6 months between last, February and I think July, right? I was thinking, hey, this thing is breaking out. It's ready to go because it had that big holding back. You're seeing the same thing with ESC, a little bit different. Same thing is going to happen, but better because this is a massive foundation here. So if this thing goes to $4, basically you're risking. I don't think it's going to go below $1.10. So you're risking 6 cents to make basically $3. That's a good risk reward ratio. So there's your 1 hour chart. I really can't tell too much. It could be a double bottom. I mean, if we close above $1.25, $1.30, that would be a positive indication. So it needs to really close at above that $1.30 before really that's like going to be the, but you got to keep an eye on this ESC, ENTEF, over the counter ESC Entertainment. And we're going to have Conrad on. I think this week he's going to be back. I think also we might have RHT this week or next week. But yeah, ESC it's cooking right now. It's going to pop any minute. Okay, another one, Logic. This one kind of went sideways in no pun intended here. So again, we introduced this last year, $3.50, went to $14 in a few months. Once they did the Canadian financing, they got shorted to hell, and it's gotten a real beating. Here's the problem. What happened? Once they announced the financing, all the shorts came out of the woodwork. The company couldn't do any promotion because of the Canadian rules. So the shorts had a field day, and it's been very difficult to rebuild that momentum. Very difficult. It's going to happen. I thought it was happening here. I thought it was going to happen here. I thought, last, September 1st, I think we did a live stream. I said, hey, this thing is breaking out. It's ready to go. Right here in late August, it looked like it was going to pop above $5. That was going to be it. Didn't happen. It broke down here. It's breaking down. I think we're going to test like it might test the lows again. It might test 225. But I believe once it does it, that's it. It's going to bottom out, and we're going to see a move towards, how big of a move? Let me show you. There's what I think it can do. I know it sounds crazy. Potentially it could be a $40 stock, or at least 15. I think it's going to be at least 15. Then it could be 40. That's what the chart tells me. I mean, again, I don't know. But listen, the fundamentals, again, watch the videos we have with the CEO. He goes into all the details. But yeah, right now this chart is not looking good here. Yeah, look at this, the 1 hour. Oh, yeah, it's probably going to test this 228 level. But then when it does, I believe that's going to be it. So let me just catch up. Let me just see if there's any questions. Let me see. Okay. What's stopping ESC to move up? Listen, what's stopping any stock to move up? It's just sometimes, there's not enough eyeballs on it at any time. I don't know, short term. There's no fundamental. Fundamentally, they have some phenomenal fundamentals now. They just are in the process of closing their, I don't know if it's a third or fourth acquisition. I think they're going to be on a run rate of 30 million plus with this acquisition, 30 million, maybe more. The CEO has been very adamant about getting to 100 million plus a run rate. Again, it's the esports space. Stock should be worth 10 times your revenues. So I see this easily. Look, short term, it's undervalued. People are just, they've kind of forgotten about it. People have moved on to, I don't know, Bitcoin, whatever. That's what's happening right now. But once it goes back in, it's going to be exactly like what happened with VSB. With VSB or RHT, when the thing dropped to 50 cents in the summer, people are like, whatever. All of a sudden, oh my God, now it's FOMO kicking in. Nothing changed. We're not working with Skylight. Personally, I own a bunch of stock now because of an option exercise. So I'm holding it. I'm hoping that it's going to turn around here. I think it is. I think yeah. I mean, I still have it on my screen because I own it. So I'm stuck in it. And I think it's actually going to do okay. I mean, I know Sean Black is into the stock. I think we saw. I think basically 250 was the bottom, and it just needs to close above like 375. And again, this is SLHG in the US and Canada. This is the Canadian symbol I'm pulling up. So 375, I think, would give it back into bull mode. If it goes above $4, it's going to be, game on. There's a US analyst, I think they put out a $9 target on the stock. So I know Sean thinks it's going to be $10 plus, maybe even more. But I haven't heard anything from, Pratt. I don't know, I haven't heard from him in months. So, but yeah, I think it's going to eventually turn around. Okay, so stocks which are incubating right now. ESC is incubating, Logic, and Raya. Now Raya we just introduced, was it 2 weeks ago? It popped. I think, quite frankly, what happened was, I think people who bought the stock here in the 5-6 cent range, I think there's a bunch of people who bought it. Maybe it could have been people front running the, they thought, hey, there's gonna be some promotion. That happens, in Canada. So, if somebody got into it at 6 cents, they probably, if they sold 15 cents, they'd probably get out of it, right? You had those penny flippers. If they doubled, tripled their money. But I think this thing is going to turn around here, and potentially we could be $1.50 plus. Minimum, I think it's going to be minimum of 50 cents in about a month. It's going to take a little while to get this traction. People need to understand it. It's a bit of a complicated story, very similar to like VSB, very similar in sort of that people need to really understand the possibilities of this thing. And once they do, it'll do well. So again, not a lot of, the problem with the chart is the chart is only like 4 months old. The company's it's been trading for 5-6 months. So there's not enough data in it to really read the chart. In theory, this looks bullish for this week, but there's really not enough data in this thing yet. Although I think that, Friday's close, in theory, this is a nice chart pattern. This is a bullish chart pattern. So we might see this thing go above 12 cents, and then it's going to get some traction. I think a lot of the people who flipped it are out. So, because normally there was a massive amount of buying when we introduced it, and normally that stock would have doubled. It should have doubled that first week. Normally, that's what would have happened. So I'm surprised that it didn't. It only went up, I don't know, whatever, 50%. Let's see what happens this week. I'm bullish on this stock. So yes, it's only been around a few months. It's got to develop a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure when we're gonna have Jay on. He might be on. I don't know. I don't think he's not on the schedule this week. Maybe next week. We'll see. Fans is what do you call it? Yeah, it's been very quiet. Let me pull up the chart on Fans. It's a frustrating, and this is a frustrating stock. So again, we introduced this last year. I think it was August. No, it's late August. I think it was 20 cents, and Yeah, 22, 24 cents. Stock went to what, 2.25 or something. So it was a 10 bagger plus. It's in the process of kind of bottoming out here, building a base in the 68-cent range. I don't see it going lower than here. I don't see it going below 62 cents. So we might touch 62 cents, and it's going to turn around, and we're going to see $2 plus on it. And it might even be $4. Let's see what happens. I mean, they're in the right space. They're in the sports betting space, iGaming, all the right things. The stock is cheap. The price is cheap. I mean, I think with the NFL season, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the sports betting space, a lot of ads on TV for, DraftKings, et cetera, et cetera. People are going to be looking for that cheap alternative. And fans is the one for under $1. Come on. FUNFF is the US symbol. We're going to have Organic Garage on, I think, on Thursday. Liquid Avatar. Again, we're not working with Liquid Avatar, but let me see. Yeah. So Liquid Avatar is cooking right here. I think we're going to see potentially a move to above 20 cents. I mean, this thing could pop. Look what's going on. The last week or so, something is cooking. Stock is gaining momentum. I think I talked about it early in the week in that 11-cent range. So I think it hit 14 cents or something here. It's looking good. It's looking pretty good. I think if it clears 15 cents, you're going to get a whole new level of buying. If this thing closes above 15 cents, it's going to be in a very good position to go to a quarter. I've said this type of thing about these penny stocks. I remember I had the same exact conversation with CBDT last year. It was, I think, 12 cents. I think I said something on Twitter like, hey, 15-cent stocks become 25-cent stocks, and then they become 50-cent stocks. So I think this 12-cent stock is probably, if it hits 15, with a conviction, if we see a couple of high conviction closes above 15 cents, it's probably going to go to a quarter. I don't think there's any real resistance here. Yeah, between here. Yeah, I think a lot of people are out of the stock already. So once it goes to a quarter, it might go 30 cents. Who knows? It's very speculative. Again, there's not enough data with this chart. Again, it's only a 6-month-old chart. Not a lot of data there. Or I guess almost a year-old chart, but not really. It's really from December. It's kind of okay. Shit. Wow. Okay. So this is funny. So we introduced this thing at 13 cents. It doubled. We introduced it. We announced it at 13 cents. It went to 42 cents within 2 days. Crazy. So it got a little bit ahead of itself. So that's the deal there. Yeah, I think fans, you got to be patient with fans. I think you got to be patient with fans. It's going to do really well, in my opinion. Okay, so I mentioned bets a little bit earlier. I think there's going to be something happening imminent. I was told imminently. Again, we said imminently months ago. I think something is cooking. So this is going to be something happening. May not happen, but anyway, they got to get this thing back trading one way or the other. Let's see. Let me see. Any other questions here? Okay, this guy's got 70,000 shares of VSB. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So pretty much, VSB, great position for this week. RHT, Relic, RQHTF over the counter. Great setups for this week. And we got ESE. Keep an eye on ESE. I think this thing is going to move. Logic, probably going to see the thing drop a little bit before it builds. It finally bottoms out, and then it's going to move. Raya, I think, could move this week. It's looking pretty good. Logic, I mean, not Logic, Liquid, which we're not working with Liquid, but chart-wise, I think it's in a good position. Why do I mention Liquid Avatar? Because I got a bunch of stock I'm stuck with, and I've been holding it. It's crazy. So yeah, yeah. So TBP, yeah, we're not working with TBP. I don't listen for whatever reason. Listen, for whatever reason, some companies renew, some don't renew. Sometimes we don't want to renew with the company, right? TBP, the fundamentals have not changed. I think this thing could, it still has all the same. The story has not changed. I think it could still be a 10 bagger. I think the stock could still go to $2. We just need the clinical data. So, maybe we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I have no just by the yeah. So just to be clear, uh, there's no negative reason why some companies just realize, hey, we don't want to promote. Yeah, the idea of promotion stuff. Not every company understands, and not every CEO understands. I know that TBP never was too much into it. They really had to be like, I think they might have been kind of in a desperate position, and people say, "Hey, you gotta, do this thing, otherwise you're not gonna go anywhere." And the stock moved, obviously, but they may not be believers in the concept. It could be, that maybe they think that, okay, we got some good fundamentals now, and we don't need to promote. We can, I don't know, but there is no they haven't renewed, but there is no like negative thing or anything. So I think the stock could do very well. As far as I know, Sean Black is as bullish as ever. So that thing I think should do okay. Let me actually, I'll even pull up the chart just for entertainment purposes. Um, you know, the chart here is, I'll be honest, it's not looking great here when it breaks. You got this gap kind of, what do they call it? Hanging man formation. It could bottom out here in this kind of range. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We haven't done anything with these guys since early September. So I don't know what's going. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I think this thing could fundamentally, everything that they have is still there. So that's it. Um, Let me see what else is going on here. Yeah, so VSB stock to watch for tomorrow. Also RHT. I think RHT. Let me pull up the 1 hour chart. Okay, there you go. Does this chart look familiar to you? It looks exactly like before the breakout of VSB and the breakouts in Bitcoin, in Tesla. This is the, what do you call it, a cup and handle, whatever you want to call this. It's going to pop, I believe, tomorrow, the next day. We're going to see new highs in Relic this week. I am certain of this. Very bullish. MACD lines crossing over. You're above the moving average. So we're going to see, beautiful close on Friday. We could see some fireworks this week. Yeah, look, ooh. This is the 15-minute chart. So I think we could see some fireworks in Relic this week. And the financing, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll tell you something. If they did not do that financing when they announced, and by the way, like I think Sean was saying, do not do. I know he was telling, do not do the financing. Wait till, because that stock had massive momentum. There's a short squeeze going on. That stock could have ran to $1, minimum 75 cents. And I know a lot of people were not happy about it. That financing basically threw it, like derailed TBP. So everybody pretty much knows that. But yeah, Relic looking amazing tomorrow. And yeah, so we should have I think it could be a very exciting week. Check out the video we're going to have up tomorrow on Wall Street Reporter channel. And let me just wrap up saying, make sure you click the link in the video description to join our Telegram, our Discord channel. You want to join the Telegram Discord, of course, our website, Wall Street Reporter, and click the like and subscribe button if you are not a member of this channel. Again, all our chart stuff is going to be on this channel, the Penny Stock Billionaire Gang channel. So make sure you get the notifications, because we're not going to be doing chart commentary on the Wall Street Reporter channel. We want to keep it as a separate thing, because this is opinion. I don't want to mix in opinion with factual stuff from the companies. So that's it. So thank you, everybody, for joining the live stream. I will see you all this week.